So, weiter geht's mit Genshin. Und ja, Samstagmittag, Viertel nach eins. Klappe Jongli. Ich habe nicht mit so viel zu tun jetzt in der Version. Außer halt alte Achievements nachholen, nochmal Ökonomia durchforsten, weil da anscheinend noch Sachen fehlen. Und TGC. Das sind alles Sachen, auf die ich gar keinen Bock habe jetzt gerade. Wobei ich auf die Sache jetzt auch nicht allzu viel Bock habe, die ich jetzt machen werde. Aber gut, muss ja sein irgendwann mal. Die Narzissenkreuz-Quest. Ja. Search in the Algai Sea. Also, ja, gut, die sind gleich. Institute of Natural Philosophy Fontaine. Return to Narzissenkreuz Order. It's been a while. Time to head back to Narzissenkreuz Order and see how everyone's doing with the investigations. Ja. Ich habe, wie gesagt, nichts Besseres mehr zu tun. Ich habe alles sonst soweit erkundet. Das letzte Event mit Fremini habe ich gestern beendet. Vorgestern die Quest, gestern die Minispiele. Und ja. Was ist das eigentlich? Egal. Jetzt sage ich erstmal jetzt zu den rein. So. Magisches Buch. Bring mich an den Ort, der nicht auf der Karte eingezeichnet ist. In die Sphäre. Oh, die sind sogar alle jetzt gegroupt und nicht mehr in ihren eigenen Ecken. Interessant. Gehe ich jetzt mit jedem zusammen und gleichzeitig unterwegs oder wie ist das jetzt hier gedacht? Oder ich werde sehen. Ach, stimmt ja, Caterpillar. Ach ja. Oh Gott. 3. Wehe, die Quest ist wieder so scheiße lang. Moment. Wie heißt die Quest komplett? Lost in the Algaisi. Ich würde gerne mal gucken, wie lange die so ungefähr geht, wenn man sie theoretisch optimal spielt. Lost in the Algaisi. Bin verblüfft. Ich glaube nicht, dass sie nur eine Stunde geht. Die geht vielleicht eine Stunde nur. Aber das ist dann der erste Teil, oder? Es muss nur der erste Teil sein. Never ever ist es nur eine Stunde mit der Quest. Okay, egal, gut. Eine Stunde in Reihenform heißt 1,5 bis 2 bei mir. Gut. Das kommt schon eher hin. Night Nisha, Paimon, you're back. You bet we are. Have you found anything new in the meantime? Mr. Caterpillar and I have been doing some research. Oh, and we've discovered that Seymour doesn't, in fact, have an annihilation mode. Following data fragment sorting, this phrase was found to have been derived from the novel Prisoner 6 Overrun. In that book, the World Organization launched a mass annihilation agent to hunt a Chimera down. Wait, that's just not important at all. Apart from using our free time to go out and investigate, we've also read through the books collected here one more time. We couldn't make heads or tails of them at first, and even now, well, they certainly are well written. I don't know whose handwriting it is, or what scribe or copyist was hired, but their penmanship is clear and clearly beautiful. A master of calligraphy, if I ever saw one. Right, so you were talking about the handwriting? I've got a bad feeling about this already. Did you not find anything during this time then? Alright, sorry. I shan't jest any further. Jest. As you know, we told you all that we found the last time without holding anything back. However, I feel that this time there are some clues hidden in details that we must rely on chance to reveal. Chance? Whatever. Reveal their meaning, you mean? Indeed, for example, if no further relations concerning a murder emerge, then the blood on a painting will always remain a red smear. Then what will this chance be, Caterpillar? Well, why don't we do a quick recap of everything we've discovered? Let's make some deductions regarding what happened in the past. That might give us the opportunity to fill in some gaps that can help us support us refute our views. It's a good idea. I've always felt like there's so much about this that's familiar, but I can't recall anything about it. Negative. I can give a continuous account of the resources that I have sorted. Silly dog. Didn't you only recover your creator's name after talking to us about the matter? Negative. I merely matched similar sounds during said interaction. There was no data loss involved. However, I must append that I, too, find that keyword searches make searching for entries more efficient. So what do we want to discuss? Well, for a bit of a warm-up or a teaser, if you would, you may be referring to a heater. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. So let's start off our deductions with something simple. What is the Mary Ann in the Anna pauses exactly? Huh? That Mary Ann, what's the greatest secret of all? I'm sure you can see that too. Let's get ourselves some armchairs. Let's get ourselves some armchairs. Maybe crack open a few beers. Oh wait, you can't drink yet. Sagt der Richtige. Komm. Wir sind mehrere hundert Jahre alt. Wir sehen nur aus wie eine 16-Jährige. Ich meine, wir haben auch den Körper eher von einer 18-Jährigen schon, aber okay. Was soll's. Anyway, let us help you sort our findings out. I start first. Well, the name Mary Ann itself certainly is familiar to me. The name of the person I was meant to protect is Mary Ann, yes, but I have no data regarding the identity of the one who resides within the Anna pauses. We are missing context. I can only conclude, based on a human's unmodified lifespan, that they are not the same person. That would seem to be the case, huh? It's been a few hundred years after all. Well, as for Paimon, she ate chicken mushroom skewer this morning. Well, guess it's my turn. You mentioned before that you encountered oceanic creatures that had a great deal of character, one might say personality even. The precondition for such creatures and their characters is the same. The intelligent Oceanid has already understood their original forms beforehand. So, were you the one who willed those creatures into being, Anne? Don't you think that's kinda weird, you know, summoning familiar friends to play house with you for who knows how long and stuff? Well, I didn't do that, actually I had to get to know Petit Chou, Al and the others first. Well, then, in that case, let's see what we can deduce from the things we already know. Then let's begin. It's already starting? Oh nein. About Anne. Anne is a small Oceanid. She didn't create the Oceanid creatures and other pauses. Speaking of, just how do Oceanids reproduce again? Anne's far too weak to control that whole realm, so she can't be the Oceanid behind it all. The name Mary Ann. Anne said the name sounded familiar. I should ask her about it should something come to mind. To Seymour, she is someone that he must protect. Either way, ordinary humans don't live that long. It's been several hundred years, so they are probably not the same person, right? The Mary Ann in Anna pauses? The Mary Ann in Anna pauses seems very mysterious. We once suspected Anne was a character from her dreams. So Oceanic creatures in Anna pauses. Oceanids are sentient creatures, unique to Fontaine, and they can create... Wrong. Wir haben eine in Liebe. Fairerweise. And they can create Oceanic creatures through mimicry and transformation. I remember all the strange and wonderful Oceanic creatures we saw before we met Mary Ann. There are Oceanids in Anna pauses. Maybe Osail can create water creatures. Wie kommen wir jetzt komplett random auf Osail? What? But it's extraordinary to be able to imagine creatures with rich personalities. It's almost certain that there's an Oceanid in Anna pauses controlling everything. Who can she be? What Paimon ate this morning. Chicken mushroom skewer. At the risk of missing major plot twists or important foreshadowing, I don't think this is related to Anne's background either. Repeat again. Achso, Zeile. Ja. Oh, das war sogar halbwegs richtig. It's an enigmatic Mary Ann. Mary Ann was the same name as Seymour's owner and who seems to know everything. Even if she's not an Oceanid, she's probably related to the Oceanid behind all of this. Submit? Ohne Fehler, oh mein Gott. That's enough for now. More than enough for a warm-up. Correct. The oddities in the pauses all point to the powers of the Oceanids. But this is not Miss Anne's doing. All of this together means... There's another Oceanid in Anna pauses? That is what I suspected. An Oceanid with one, Mary Ann, has a close relationship. Or perhaps she could even be the princess herself. Do you mean to say that Mary Ann may in fact be Princess Lyris? Yes, Lyris, the Red Empress of the Nitzenkreuz Order from back then. The Red Empress who loves to take heads. Okay. Take heads? I seem to have a vague recollection of something like that. Wow. But it's not a story about Lyris, rather it's a fairy tale about someone named Mary Ann. Yes, the taking heads thing is just a metaphor. Lyris is made of pure water, and so has the ability to dissolve and extract people's worlds. The Nitzenkreuz Order used her to extract the ego and become holy. Searching for the keyword Lyris was yielded relevant information in my indices. Whatever. Talking of the Red Empress has reminded me of a few things about Mary Ann. Must over a while first and speak to Miss Ann and see more. See if the conclusion you reach awakens any new memories. And Night to Nisha, I remembered the name Mary Ann. Oh, do tell. It's familiar to me because it's from a children's story, the same one that the Red Empress comes from. The female lead, Lydell, whatever, was missing from Mary Ann, the servant. And Mary Ann never appeared throughout the entire story. Maybe Mary Ann never really existed, except as a figment in someone's dreams. How do you know about the story, Anne? And isn't that a good question? How do I know about it? Memory feels more vivid than those I have of the story of the evil dragon, Narcissus. See more. Shall I summarize the entries regarding Lyris 8 possesses for you too? Alright. Omitting the standard citation format. Reconstructing output to match format report to superiors. Lyris is a registered Oceanid. He is not eligible to be stationed in the waters outside Fontaine and has become a special source of information for the nation. She was appointed as the director of an orphanage to symbolize the love and affection of the previous Hydra-Archon. Okay. House of Half oder was? Jetzt wird's interessant. The orphanage affairs were mainly managed by its human vice director. An orphanage director, then how is she connected to the Nitzenkreuz Order? As director, Lyris was very affectionate towards the children and quite devoted to them, but her intelligence among Oceans was below average. Oh, she wasn't very good at working out the cause and effect of things, nor could she even count. As a result, she was not qualified to perform covert investigations. Oh, sounds kinda like a big old cat mom who can't count. You know, because cats can't count, so they pick up their kittens one by one. And keep going until I see there aren't any kittens left. Wirklich? Later the orphanage was destroyed during the calamity, and official records of her stopped there. They say she failed to understand the link between the disaster, the orphans fleeing, and her own conduct, and so she wanders the ruins, drowning in guilt and expectation. I have an underwater locomotion module. Locomotion, what? Once Mary and I dove down to the ruins of the orphanage, whose coordinates were the same as those of Anapausis. They were found in oceans swimming sadly in circles. When she next appeared in the records, she was a core member of the Nitzenkreuz Order and the subject of a high priority arrest warrant. Oh, but she doesn't seem like a bad person. Considering that she may be connected to Anne, she must have been tricked. Ah yes, there's another important piece of information worth noting. The orphanage's name was the Nitzenkreuz Institute. Okay, hat sich was mit House of Heart. Nitzenkreuz. These are all Marie Chaussee Phantom files that Mr. Alain Guillotine recorded to the testing light sensitivity while designing me. The output is via my image to text to speech module. According to eyewitness testimony regarding who I suspect to be Lyris, there shouldn't be any problems. And you may have heard of this elsewhere, but it's worth mentioning again. Elaine and Mary Ann were orphans in the care of the Nitzenkreuz Institute before. The Marechaussee Hunter, Emmanuel Guillotine, took them in. Thank you, Seymour. Don't mention it, noble madame. Good, Caterpillar. Paimon feels like you've changed a lot since you met in the fortress of Meropede, Caterpillar. Would a 5-year-old child and a 15-year-old teenager be the same? Perhaps returning here simply reminds me of the past and of where I used to be. Time is frozen in the fortress, being locked up there for a day or 100 years. I'm afraid it made no difference to me. Lenore is what made time flow for me. Watching her grow reminded me that time still passes, and life is still being born, shining brilliantly and then being extinguished. And so I changed as well. That said, my past self, the person I was before, I met her, would certainly be more helpful to Anne and Seymour in our current situation. And that's true. Don't be like that, Paimon. Just think about it. Making up stories for Lenore was nothing more than putting such ways of thinking to good use. Regardless, it has nothing to do with the current situation. You look like you still have questions, Anisha. Since we have our own suspicions about Anne and Lyra's relationship, we have topics of discussion that can be used to refute or sustain those conjectures. How do Oceanids reproduce? I'm sure you have friends more knowledgeable than I am regarding that. Perhaps you can even find scholars of natural philosophy who have dedicated research to the question. Or you could have asked the Oceanids you know personally, but you asked me. Ich wollte gerade sagen, dass du einfach zu hier Rodea oder wie sie heißt gehen. Oder einfach zu jedem Fontainien. Of course, I know what you mean. So, this is your speculation, I see. Paimon doesn't get it. Paimon, ich bin auch komplett raus aus der ganzen Sache. Fairerweise. Ich drehe mir da so ein paar Sachen im Kopf zurecht und das war's eigentlich auch schon. When we exchanged information earlier, Anisha mentioned that Anne is the person in Mary Ann's dream. Or perhaps she might be a manifestation made by Mary Ann. An Oceanid, wide repetition. Are you just saying to make it sound cuter? Apologies, perhaps my description was ill done. Still, can an Oceanid create an Oceanid creature version of an Oceanid? Uh-huh. Wow, that's deep. God. That's like asking if hard candies can be used as the filler for another hard candy. Oof. So what would you say to that? This question's really interesting, but Paimon's already hungry for answers. I suppose I'd have to say... Still, you may not realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes, so let me explain. Do tell. You might be confused as to why there are Oceanid creatures with personalities in the Anapauses. If Oceanids can create Oceanid creatures, then can they create Oceanid humans? Or Oceanids? Ach so, Creatures sind diese... okay, diese Tiere quasi. Ach so, wenn eine Oceanide solche erstellen kann, in dem Bossfight, können sie auch, ja, Ozeaniden-Menschen quasi erstellen? Oder weitere Ozeaniden? Interessant. Und wenn diese Ozeaniden quasi ein Bewusstsein entwickeln? Okay. Convention dictates that it's rare for Oceanids to be able to mimic a human, unless the human drowns in their arms. What? Or the Oceanid has spent extensive time with the person and knows everything about them. And the Oceanid in question must also have tremendous wisdom and compassion. I'm afraid perhaps only one as powerful as Rodea could do it. Oh mein Gott, sie wird echt erwähnt. Das wird interessant, wenn wir jetzt echt nach Liebe reisen müssen und mit Rodea reden müssen. Oh mein Gott, das wäre cool. Wow, so that means Lydia must be incredibly strong. War das die aus dem Event in 3.8? Das ist ein bisschen blöd für Leute, die es nicht kennen. Also die es nicht gespielt haben. Oder war Lydia... Nee, das war die aus dem 3.8 Event, oder nicht? Stimmt, ja doch, weil... Ja, das muss sie sein, weil sie hat ja 3 Menschen quasi geformt aus Ozeaniden-Gedöns. So it's rare to mimic humans, but not impossible. Now, creating another Oceanid. That's different. Wie hieß nochmal die eine jetzt da aus Wellspring? Ich habe keine Ahnung. Creating humans using human knowledge can only be achieved by gods. Creating humans using human knowledge can only be achieved by gods. Ja, sag das mal den vorigen Hydro-Archon. Also dem vor dem aktuellen, der gestorben ist, aber okay. It usually should be impossible in this world, at least. Unless a human or Ocean has already placed themselves above their own kind and attempted such insanity. You mean they thought they had become a god? That's right, followers blindly believe in their leaders, who in turn blindly believe in themselves, giving rise to delirium and delusions. They can do what a god can do. Their deeds are not that great after all. Powerful belief is also powerful will, and magic is a skill that molds reality to your will. Perhaps the descendant hypothesis makes more sense. Perhaps Mary Ann doesn't consider herself an Ocean type? Huh. Perhaps, it's possible and quite understandable too. Nothing else, the Lyris I know doesn't have this kind of intelligence, nor would she be this crazy. I have some less mainstream ideas about how Oceans reproduce, but they are not important and we can discuss them later. Oder wir gehen einfach Odeya fragen. Now let's reorganize information that everyone just recalled. This might take quite some time, might be somewhat hard on our throats. Ja, I'm ready. Ist das eine Warnung, dass man jetzt sehr viel lesen muss? Und vorlesen muss in meinem Fall? Naja. So regarding Elaine's younger sister Mary Ann, the Anapauses Mary Ann, the Red Empress Lyris, and the Ann who's with us. What will our conclusion be? How will we sustain it and how shall we refute it? Everyone gathers. Is there anything else you feel we should add? As I mentioned before, Mary Ann is not only the princess in Anne's story, but she's also the person I must protect. She is the younger sister of Elaine Guillotine, the one who designed me, 4ACV07. As for matters concerning me, I suppose you already know all about them, Knight Onisha. Speaking of which, didn't we also hear all sorts of stuff while we were in Elinas? Seymour was also damaged during that time. How did it go? Did you think of anything? About the damage to Seymour and Elinas. That's right, Seymour was damaged inside Elinas and Mamea's been taking care of him. To my shame, yes. Although I do not have such emotions, you can see it as me having lowered my assessment of myself. And according to Elinas, the battle that occurred within his body ended quite terribly. Evidently, that was the battle that damaged you, and it was an incredibly fierce one. But considering that you were damaged, then your master might have been... Common sense dictates that the fate of Mary Ann Guillotine, sister of Ellen Guillotine, was most likely a grim one. But this world is full of tales of loyal knights who exchanged their lives for a miracle, so you needn't grieve too much, Seymour. Seymour appears to have entered data fragment sorting mode out of pure shock. But your master, Mary Ann, was an ordinary human being, wasn't she? And the time that has passed since then far surpasses the lifespan of any human. Yeah. How did it go? Did you think of anything? The Red Empress Lyris. She was an important figure in the Narcissenkreuz Order, and she's also the other Ocean involved in the tale, apart from Miss Anne. One of only two Oceanids, and we also just agree that we believe there must be an Oceanid behind Anapauses. But her traits don't match those of the Mary Ann we encountered. Could it be that Lyra's imagination was behind everything, even me? That's unlikely. Seymour mentioned that her intelligence was quite limited, so phantoms of this sort would be quite hard for her. Similar to how an author would struggle to write a character more intelligent than themselves. In fairy tales, the kitten may dream of their living little master. Was? Okay, but I fear such things don't happen much in real life. So, who's behind all this? And who in the world is that Mary Ann? How did it go? Did you think of anything? The Oceanid Anne. Huh? What about me again? We once suspected that you might be the person that Mary Ann dreamed of. So in your view, Mary Ann is the Oceanid behind the curtain, yes? I don't know. Well, then do you find the name Lyra familiar? She is after all the only Oceanid involved in this apart from yourself. If you mean the title, the Red Empress, then yes, I do have some impression of it. How did it go? Did you think of anything? The Mary Ann is Anapauses. The Mary Ann in Anapauses. That makes her our prime suspect then. To be honest, where you're using the process of elimination, you actually already guessed as much long ago. I didn't want to disrespect Anne though. You're right, but you do already have a version of the story in your heart. Your own interpretation, yes? If that's the case, then we should go find some Mary Ann and see for ourselves. Please permit me to change the topic for a moment. Does this mean that I shall no longer be able to fulfill my orders to protect Mary Ann? We've worked out this much, and that's the only bit you care about. It may be cruel, but from the moment we discovered that the guillotine siblings were from centuries ago, it was probably inevitable. Correction, so the conclusion would be that it was my incompetence that exposed Mary Ann to danger? Do not blame yourself. You have fought to the point of destruction. You have done your part. There's no need to be so pessimistic either. So that's an odd thing to say to a machine. Yeah, it's like pouring Fanta into a sink and then saying, "Sink, you'll get fat if you keep drinking like this." Oh. 4ACV07. I can't believe you remember that. What is it, Mr. Caterpillar? Why use my official designation? We may not have reached any conclusions, but we now know what to do next. Look, there's a Mary Ann in the pauses too, and she also has close links to the Narzissenkreuz. My long-term memory module confirms this. As such, there's no need to restore your logic module to factory settings yet. Let's take a step back. We can still go and find this Mary Ann. Thank you for your logical troubleshooting and emotional adaptive maintenance. I think what you said makes sense. It is not yet time to admit defeat and restore myself to my initial settings in order to take on a new mission. Yeah, that's right, you silly doggy. Let's leave things here for a while, then. Once you are ready, we can continue. Why don't we go to find this Mary Ann? Let's solve the mystery before tackling the Narzissenkreuz auto issue. I concur. I'd really like to figure that one out too. After all, it might explain where I come from. My logic module agrees that this is the correct course of action. So, shall we go then? Okay. Ich hätte gehofft, dass jetzt irgendwie schon ein Unterquest kommt. Also das war hier oben, genau. Ich kann besseren Teleporter als nur zur Eingangshalle zu gehen. Verdammt. War jetzt gerade verwirrt, aber ja, hier oben war ja Wasser an der Decke. For whatever reason. Ich meine, komm, diese Wassergestalt, die hier ist. Soll das nicht der Drache gewesen sein? Irgendwas muss damit sein. Weil es sieht cool aus, aber irgendwas wird damit sein. Muss damit sein. So. Zack. We're back again. This time I must marry Anne. Aha, Mary Ann. Ich hab... ja, oh Gott. Ja. That's straight, Miss Anne. In truth, I must confess to being somewhat jealous of you. You still hold out hope for recovering your past. I've been searching for centuries, but I haven't found a thing. So please, do your best for this old caterpillar's part as well, alright? Figure your past out and come to accept your present self. Yup, I will. Wieso sind die wieder da? Oh, what are these guys doing here again? Ich dachte, die sind gestorben. Wait, isn't that Al's group? Oh, yes, it is us, and you are Natnisha and Paimon. It's really good to see you. So good that I can't control myself anymore. Please dodge to the best of your ability. Jack. She asked us to send you a message. Now let me take out a written letter with my hands, which are much like yours, yellow and white ones. Ahem. I don't want to hear your stories. I prefer my version. Wieso müssen wir jetzt gegen die kämpfen? Bullshit.
Stabilize.
Da mag jemand die Wahrheit anscheinend nicht. Huh? The barber that was here before is gone too. Well, it was Princess Lyra's magic. That's just how the story goes. Let me think of a way. Close your eyes, everyone. A temporary optical sensor shutdown. Understood. They will be reactivated on our command. Nimmt er jetzt seine normale Form an und gibt seinen Luftballon nach oben? Wait, why do we have to do that? The essence of a mime is pretense that charades that something is still here. And belief is the heart of magic, the faith that there is meaning here. So let's close our eyes. So and begin imagining what it would look like if the bubble was still here. You close your eyes and feel some sort of fluctuation. I prefer the story of the Narzisstenkreuz adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after the adventure has ended. Wow, it really appeared. The author called this step the process of imagining something in such detail. Imagining. Let's go over and have a look. Okay. Ich ja nicht voll live, natürlich nicht. Ich habe keinen Healer dabei. Zack. LOL. Nahida und Fischl haben genau gleich viel HP. Das ist interessant. Enter. Das ist immer noch so nahmarschig anscheinend. Okay. Doop-di-doop-di-doo. It's the entrance that's disappeared this time. This time. Anne, do you know to make how to make the pass? Do you know how to make the portal? Can you do your imagining thing on it? Alright, let me give it a try. You close your eyes and a lonesome silence comes over you. But everyone's left, they won't come back, no matter how long I wait. I can't, it seems. Wait, why? How are we supposed to see Mary Ann then? I suspect that this is because the portal has lost meaning and thus cannot be recreated. Ah. From what you told me before, the entrance that was once placed here led to a story that had yet to be written. Now that she has said everything she wanted to, the story no longer has any meaning. Mary Ann is rejecting our answer. And that is why the way in is shut. Does this mean we are going to return empty-handed? It just seems so. I wouldn't say we are completely out of luck. Did you notice something we didn't then, Natanisha? I heard something while Anne was imagining. I did hear something then, so you can hear too? Would it be Mary Ann's real thoughts? What did you two hear? Might be best not to discuss personal secrets here. The words might have ears and all. Let's head back before talking about this. You return with Aaron to the Narzisstenkreuz order. So could you tell us what you heard? Perhaps a Hilchon might hear something that humans and Oceanians will not. Just as how dog and humans differ in that regard. You must correct your statement. My auditory components can indeed pick up higher and lower frequencies as compared to humans. However, I am not a dog. Moreover, a dog's low frequency hearing is similar to that of a human. Is that so? Well, I was talking about real dogs, not you. Or ACV07. Haha, silly dog. That said, I didn't think you would hear too, Nightnisha. I wonder if we'd heard the same thing. But everyone's left. They won't come back no matter how long I wait. Looks like we hear the same thing. I suspect that this was the inner voice of Mary Ann. Did she say anything else? I'm not trying to invade anyone's privacy or anything. I just think that we are onto something here with you mentioning these words, Anisha. Let me think. After that, I also heard something like, I prefer the story of the Narzisstenkreuz adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after the adventure has ended. And then, I don't want to hear your stories. I prefer my version. Have you noticed something off about this, Anisha? Please state your case. Let's think our own thoughts through first. Perhaps we really might be able to come to some conclusion. Ja, die Quest hat zwar irgendwie... Also ja, die Quest hat eine Story, die sie erzählt, aber es ist halt so sau viel Text irgendwie. Anne. Anisha, is there anything else you want to say? I'm just an Oceanite who doesn't know anything, and I'm really bad at thinking. Even if you just told me a random story, I'd still believe it all. Hook, line, and sinker. The world is too complicated after all, and I'm not experienced enough to spot any holes. I won't do that. Thank you, Natanisha. Thinks that Mary Ann is in anapause is the same as me. She might look smart, but she doesn't want to accept this complicated world, so she chooses to protect herself with fairy tales. But even fairy tales must end. I'm very sorry, I may be unable to offer any logical support at this time. My listening equipment cannot hear inner voices. Don't worry, you've heard plenty already. Would you tell me your assessment? Is the Mary Ann from anapause the person I meant to protect or not? I think she is. I'm willing to believe your judgment, even if it means I have to update my data. According to my records, Mary Ann Guillotine never exhibited the behavior of waiting for others to come back after the Kreuz Institute was destroyed. That means she must have returned to the ruins here after being adopted, living there for a while, but there is no possible time frame that meets these requirements. Logical error, data fragment sorting initiated. Ich glaube, das ist egal, was man sagt, oder? Caterpillar. You don't seem to want to link the two of them together. Neither elimination nor enumeration is very fair to Anne. What a coincidence, I happen to agree. But I have some other thoughts to share too, though they have nothing to do with the next step in our reasoning. Are you willing to listen? I'm listening. Earlier we broached the topic of oceanid reproduction. It's a huge taboo for oceanids to mimic and transform into one of their own kind. Was? Okay. Does it is for humans to create humans. Ja, sag das mal rein dort hier, oder Gold, oder wie auch immer sie heißt mit Albedo, aber okay. But you see, humans can create humans through love. Ja, gut. Go pursue eternity, not through mystery but love. What if, by some chance, this mysterious method of oceanic production is accomplished through imagination and mimicry? Perhaps a regret or remorse gives birth to a thought, and as I imagine the paths that would have been taken, a new oceanid is born. That's a very interesting idea. We will never know. After all, it's a secret passed down amongst oceanids only. In any case, we will begin once you're ready. Let's begin. Then let's begin. This morning, Paimon ate. Ich finde schon, dass es aber noch benommen wird. I don't know why I can't get this out of my mind. This can't really be foreshadowing, can I? The Red Empress Lyris. A member of the Narzissenkreuz Order from several hundred years ago. Her whereabouts afterward are unknown. She's also the only other oceanid involved, other than Anne. The talkative Mary Ann. Mary Ann, who wove a fairy tale without an ending. She refused our visit, but she mentioned her memories from the Narzissenkreuz Institute. It sounded like she was waiting for everyone to return to the Institute ruins. Mary Ann Guillotine, the one that Seymour was supposed to protect. Something happened in Eleanor's, resulting in Seymour's damage and her disappearance. Where is she, and what is her relationship with Mary Ann? The memories of the Narzissenkreuz Institute. The only person who grew up in the Narzissenkreuz Institute and has a matching background is Mary Ann Guillotine. Mary Ann Guillotine's memories. Mary Ann has Mary Ann Guillotine's memories. Ja, weil sie wahrscheinlich zu Ozeaniden geworden ist irgendwie. The person who once waited within the deserted ruins for everyone's return was Lyris, the former director. Director Lyris memories. Mary Ann has Lyris memories. Was mehr oder weniger Sinn ergibt. Vielleicht sind einfach alle aus dem Narzissenkreuz-Order zu einer Ozeanide geworden. Aha. Associate damit. Mary Ann is that younger sister. If so, then Mary Ann is Mary Ann Guillotine. They have the same name and matching memories. But, yeah. Mary Ann is Lyris. If so, then Mary Ann is Lyris. Another piece of evidence we have is that they can both use oceanid powers to control anapauses. Aha. Ja, soll ich Associate? Achso, halt. Ich will es nochmal hören. The Red Empress Lyris, Marianne is Lyris. So. The identities are contradictory. But how can she be both people at the same time? Lyris's abilities. This must mean that Lyris and Usinit probably has special powers. Removed from several years ago. Her whereabouts after unknown. Dem hier? Ja. Dissolving the personality and will. Her job in the order was to dissolve the members' egos. What could have happened between her and the missing Marianne Guillotine? Oh, ja gut, sie hat sie hat ihr Ego übernommen quasi. Statt es einfach nur auslöschen. Lyris and Anne. For some reason, Lyris dissolved Marianne Guillotine's personality. And afterwards, their worlds now mixed began to dream. They dreamed of a simple world, where the princess is saved and the evil dragon gets killed, while the heroes are always pressing onward. They dreamed of a world where everything was simple and had an answer, as long as Anne was there. Thus Anne and Marianne were born. Who's Marianne? The conclusion? We've put the pieces of the case that were floating all over the Algai Sea back together. It's just an empty box even after being put together, but we finally figured out what a lost pearl should look like. What are you trying to say, Caterpillar? Wait, don't give Pamela any hints. She's gonna figure this out on her own. We pieced together a good guess from the clues, but the truth is still unproven. Of course, my speech analysis module has determined that Miss Pamela is correct. Actually, I mean that we may never know the truth, but I'm afraid we have no choice but to accept this conjecture. So, Amnesia, is this the secret of my birth? I'm afraid I can't say something like this right away. Understand, Miss Anne, it's a shocking fact and it will require you to accept yourself again. But I don't think it should be that difficult to do so. After all, knowing your past does not require abandoning everything about the present. I don't understand the specific context of this discussion, but I would like to add that I do not believe I am different from how I was before, suffering disc damage. Even though you insist on addressing me as a silly dog, my identification number is still blah blah blah. Come on, it's not that serious. I promised Knight Nisha that I would accept this conclusion, as long as it's reasonable. Then I have a suggestion, one that will resolve Miss Anne's quandary and put a stop to Narzissenkreuz's plans. Narzissenkreuz. Narzissen? Oh, I remember now. You mentioned him before, Caterpillar. Just who is he, huh? Well, simply put, the leader of the Narzissenkreuz order. Oh, sounds like he's got an impressive resume. But isn't the Narzissenkreuz order always up to no good? Wouldn't that make him the nastiest of the lot? Of course, during my time with my master, Creator and the other Marchese hunters, we devoted most of our time to hunting the order down. As I said before, the goal of the Elina's operation was to capture or eliminate Narzissenkreuz as well. However, my memory does not contain any intelligence regarding his involvement. That's a given. Looking back at it now, he was merely using us as bait. And I wasn't the only one. It was the same for Jacob, Lyris, and many others in the order. I'm afraid that Elina's operation was probably never more than a red herring, with the goal of leading you and Guillotine away to buy him more time to execute his true plans. Remember the doomsday clock I mentioned? Yes, yeah. It's what the order considers the countdown to the apocalypse, right? To be more precise, it's the apocalypse as calculated by the world formula. Weiß nicht, ob das sind komischen Bücher mit der einen Melusine? Irgendwas war auch da. This planet itself should survive just fine, though. The beast of the stars shall drink the amniotic fluid of the world dry. 100 years more and all surface life shall be wiped away. Once life on the surface is wiped out, only that which is underwater will remain. Can a planet full of fish eventually rise up to the ocean of stars? The thought of all terrestrial life going extinct is pretty spooky, but when you say things like that, it Does give a thing, it does give things a romantic ring. It's the heading of a Yard Publishing House novel from a few years back. My mayor brought it back to the village to learn how to paint. Oh, no wonder. Anyways, for myself and the others gathered here. So, Narzissenkreuzorder is the source of all our troubles. Its objective and Narzissenkreuz's great purpose are actually completely selfless. He only took the actions he did because he calculated the coming of the apocalypse. He wishes to save the world. So is the world really on the verge of destruction? I believe this to be a pathological delusion caused by paranoia. Were the apocalypse real, would he be able to forgive Narzissenkreuz? No, it's a bit too early to consider such things. You have yet to understand what happened to you, Anne. And as for you, Seymour, your hostility is a result of your programming and the duties it imposes. I suppose you must find the Holy Blade of Narzissenkreuz. The Holy Blade of Narzissenkreuz? I'm talking about the real one, of course. As much as it may be quite strange to say that the ceremonial sport of a magic society is real, not only will it help us stop Narzissenkreuz's plans, but its unique powers may be able to undergo the merging of worlds. Should be able to separate Lyris and marry Anne. And then with Anne, you can defeat the evil dragon Narcissus and rescue Princess Lyris. Regardless. Let's get moving first. It's the spirit. It might take some time to explain, so let's move out first and I'll explain when we get there. Doch neue Erkundung. Search Guy C. Follow Caterpillar's directions to the specified location. Sei ich schon jetzt unter Quests? Ne, immer noch Guy C. 25 Meter. Aha. Jetzt soll ich also dahin. Gut. Ich google mal ganz kurz nebenbei. Lost in the Algai Sea. Genshin. Da, vor 9 Stunden aktualisiert. Gucken, wie viele Optionen habe ich da? Sechs. Habe ich da noch einen Folgequest von? Wahrscheinlich, oder? Ja. Dann gibt es noch eine weitere Folgequest. Oh Gott. Okay, es gibt drei oder vier große Quests in Folge. Das ist die erste immer noch. Oh Gott. Egal, Teleport. Gut, dann mache ich zumindest die erste jetzt erstmal fertig. Jetzt mache ich einfach jede einzeln. Ist ein Plan. Atmospheric visibility is acceptable today. Enough that you can see the tower over there, yes? In dieser Kamerafahrt sieht es eigentlich hübscher aus, als was es eigentlich wäre, aber okay. That I can. I passed it by earlier, actually. The building was once known to the Narzissenkreuzorder as the Tower of Epsissimus, but we would later call it the Tower of Gestalt. Tower of Gestalt, was? Was soll diese random deutschen Wörter drinne? It was named for the idea that things that have been separated need to be combined to display the original complete form. But I suppose I might be speaking in reverse. The heart was complete to begin with, and the mystic was to divide it up for a separate study. Probably didn't get a thing you said. It's fine, don't worry about it. Plays on words are also a trick that mysterious organizations enjoy pulling. What matters is what we must do next. Some of the vocabulary used is missing from my semantic indexes, so I could not properly parse your meaning. But I understood the last sentence. Please tell me what I shall do. While investigating alone, I found a map of the seal of chemical marriage. You could say that I found 4 seals. Ah, die Höhlen. Gut. Die Höhlen, die ich bisher ignoriert habe. Gut, dann passt das ja sogar. Confirm. And this tower is one of the locations? That's not the place we need to go. That said, though, we can be sure. Perhaps our destinies will yet take us there in the future. Either way, we need to use the position of the tower to locate the other 4 places. That's why we've come here first. So, what are those 4 seals for? That said, we've discovered from experience that it's usually best practice to just break the seals and give whatever ringleader we find a good walloping. As for me, I'd like to restore the Holy Blade of Narzissenkreuz. Cool, a new weapon. It's more for ceremonial use, but it could be used as a weapon, I guess. Well, I suppose we could also just call it the answer. As I said before, the Narzissenkreuz Order once had a ceremony to remove the ego and will. The Holy Blade was used in that ritual. I remember something about that. Laris and Mary Ann's wills created Anne, and if the old me was placed in some Hillichurt's body. Oh, now I get it. Aha. Ah. Wait a minute. Didn't we already find the Holy Blade of Narzissenkreuz? What? Really? Look. A wooden sword. It's the wooden sword we found during our adventures. Yes, so it is. Hey, what kind of reaction is that? Perhaps you can think of it like this. That's a wooden sword found in Narzissenkreuz Institute. Named the Holy Blade of Narzissenkreuz. That makes it more important than any ordinary wooden sword. Perhaps it might be of use when the time is right, just like the Holy Blade in this story. Really? You don't need to try to make us feel better. Got it, let's go. Anyway, assuming I looked at the map from the right angle, we will find the entrance to one of the seals nearby. In the Wake of Narcissus, Act 1, Searching a Galaxy, started. Wie jetzt? Jetzt fange ich erst die erste an? Oh, fuck my life. Moses' mother, find the seal. Cupid's lover, study the riddle slate. Find the seal. What? Aha. Face and find those seals. Moses' mother. Aha, das ist hier unten. Gut. Achso, ist die rote Barriere jetzt da weg? Kann das sein? Oder... Beziehungsweise war ich da schon runtergegangen durch diesen Eingang hier oben? Also hier unten. Okay, was ist da? Cupid's Lover. Ach, das ist hier in der Ecke. Andere Frage. Hätte ich mir den ganzen Kran, den ich jetzt gerade gemacht habe, sparen können, wenn ich da erst hingegangen wäre? Das ganze Gelaber. Aber was heißt sparen? Hätte ich dann das Ganze geskippt, wenn ich da jetzt direkt die Quest getriggert hätte? Wahrscheinlich ja, dann hätte ich wahrscheinlich erfahren, was sie da gemacht haben. In Kurzform. Gut. Ne, dann würde ich aber... Ja. Jetzt erstmal einen Cut setzen, glaube ich. Und dann gleich weitermachen. Dementsprechend sage ich dann hier erstmal ciao und bis dann.